Welcome to the Welsh Woodman Workshop, and in tonight's project we're going to be wood turning this mystery wood into a bowl. Now there's a nice story behind this one. This bowl is going to be going to a good friend of mine and wood turning club member called Bill Williams. Now I went over to his house the other day to collect a 8-foot natural edge slab of ash to make Sarah a table, and as I was there he gave me this lovely block of wood. Now it's quite unusual, so it's got some burls sort of bits on the side there, and it's going to be an end grain style bowl. So I thought it'd be a nice idea to turn Bill a bowl for him and his wife out of this big slab of wood. So Bill, hope you and your wife enjoy this. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to try and keep this natural sort of form. Now this seems very dry, so we'll see how well this comes out. So I'm going to slightly eyeball the centre, so that's roughly in the middle, and I'm going to be using some candle wax then to help drive the screws in. So I've got them all mounted up to the VB36, and I'm going to be using two different bowl gouges. So this has got a sweat back grind or Celtic grind or Neil grind on it, and I'm going to be using this to do lots of pull cuts to remove material quickly. And this one then has got a traditional 40-degree grind, and I'm going to be using this one for more of my sort of finishing cuts. So I'm going to trim up the bottom using some pull cuts. This is very, very dry. See the dust coming out. So I'm going to keep that thickness along the top. Have to lose that, I'm afraid. Hopefully we won't lose those, looking a bit dodgy, but we'll try and keep them in. So I'm going to blend this in more now with the top. Okay, so we've got quite a deep mortise in there. We're going to need that because this piece is still unstable. So what we're going to do then is create a little foot, then start this outward shape. So moving over to my other gouge now, 40-degree grind. Pretty happy with that. I've got a really good finish on there. Only a few little ridges there I'm going to deal with in a second. Got a few little shade cracks there. That's to be expected with the pit still in, but I think this is going to make a nice little character piece, so hope Bill enjoys this. So I'm going to use some sandpaper with some shavings as a little bit of padding to sand the profile of this. So we're going to use a Cellio sanding sealer, rub this on in circles. Now because this is all end grain pretty much, very little side grain in this bowl, we're going to need to use quite a bit of this because it's just going to absorb this. Just dabbing it on the bark. We might lose some of this bark as we turn the bowl around and turn the other side. Right, we're going to let that sink in. Let it dry for about 10 minutes. And we're going to come back, light sand, apply some more sanding sealer, light sand, then we can apply a finish. So I've done 2 coats of sanding sealer then and sanded between. We're going to be using a Fiddy's paste wax. So it's a good company, factory based in Cardiff, that makes this. And it's a lovely paste wax, flows really well, so it should give us a good finish overall. So I'm literally going to rub this on as the lathe's not moving, work it into the cracks with an old toothbrush, Then I'm going to turn the lathe on, buff it up the best I can. Buffed up the wax now, and we've got a nice shiny finish on this. It's a really unusual piece. I think the cone shape suits it quite nicely. So what we're going to do next is undo this, mount him on the jaws, so inside the mortise, and we're going to turn the inside profile. So I've turned it round the other way now. What I need to do is flatten off this face. I've resharpened my tools to help me do this. So I'm going to put a nice flat face, and I'm going to need to turn down then just to get rid of these screw holes. And that's where my rim and my sort of bowl bit's going to start, at the end of those screw holes. Looking good. Just got to get these darker spots, are the high spots, the low spots, sorry, at the moment. We just need to keep on going until they go. This is getting quite flexible, so we need to be very careful because I don't want to lose that as a feature. It's rather nice. So I'm trying to do all my cuts downhill. That's because the fibres are supporting then, and you're more likely to get a cleaner cut. So if you're cutting uphill, you tend to tear fibres more. So the way the wood works, especially with this, if you imagine this being like a clunch of straws. If we're removing straws, so we're pushing the straws down, you're going to get a smoother cut. Whereas if you're pulling up, you're going to be splitting those straws apart. So this is the turn shape we've got. I've lost all the bits of bark, but I think it looks pretty cool still. So we've got a little bit of sanding to do now, especially in this sort of area. I guess it's to do with the chattering over the cracks has affected that maybe. So we're just going to sand that out, and you can see how dry this is. So this is pretty much a sort of very dusty and small bits compared to this is a green bowl. Look at the difference in the shavings. So we're going to just finish off the sanding now and apply the finish exactly the same as the other side. So 2 coats of sanding sealer, sanding in between, then a Fiddy's wax finish to finish him off. So I've got a fresh bit of paper towel, and we're going to be using this to buff this up. Now I tend to like using paper towel compared to rags, because I tend you get more friction applied, plus you're less likely to break your fingers if they do catch or lose a finger. Actually, you know someone has lost a finger polishing with a piece of rag. So it's really important then that if it does get caught, this is just going to disintegrate and not trap your fingers. Go in from the centre, pushing lightly. You should just burnish this into the wood. Now you see the bits of paper towel that are coming off. We can deal with those with a nylon brush in a second. But rather those bits come off than catch and pull your fingers in. So here's the completed piece. So a cone sort of shape going up, then blending in with the sides. I like the fact that the shape of this is so irregular, so it's quite different from other bowls I've turned in the past. And this was certainly a challenging piece to turn due to the fact that the wood was so dry to begin with and it was an end grain bowl. But looking at the grain pattern, I think this is definitely cherry. Now I would suggest if you were turning at home, if you do see things like this, so shakes, I'd avoid turning those because it's not the safest bit of wood to turn, as you can probably see from the amount of bark that's lost from the outside of that. But as it was a challenge, I thought it was quite good to do. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed tonight's project. If you have enjoyed tonight's project, please consider supporting me in subscribing to my channel, as that really helps me out, and then I can get some more wood turning and woodworking projects your way. I hope you have a great night. Diolch yn fawr, nos da.